What's up, guys? Sci-Fi Guy 2094 here. Today, I am going to be talking about Ace. So, as you guys all know, Ace Frehley passed away recently, and I was pretty, I was pretty like shocked because he was on tour and he was still active in the music scene. Obviously, he had long since left Kiss after their reunion, and what was it, like 96, whenever they did Psycho Circus. So anyway, huge loss to the music world. Obviously, Kiss is just one of those bands that even if you're not a rock music fan, you definitely know Kiss, obviously, because their image. You know Rock and Roll All Night. It's just like a rock staple. It's an American rock staple at this point. So everybody knows the kind of the intro to everybody knows that. Then of course you have the chorus, which I wanna rock and roll all night and party every day. I wanna rock and roll all night and party every day. So everybody, loves that song, whether you're a rock and roll fan or not. Everybody loves that one, right? So anyway, I just want to talk about Ace Frehley really fast. So Ace was kind of always my favorite member of Kiss. He just kind of had, oh no, he just kind of had this vibe. I guess the young people now are calling it aura. He had this aura. But anyway, the thing that was cool about Ace is that, I'm sure you guys who are Kiss fans know this, but the idea was when Paul Stanley saw Alice Cooper performing solo. Obviously Alice Cooper's like the originator of shock rock. Bringing theatrics, costumes, makeup, and as a stage presence with the music. So the idea was for all of them to kind of have a look of Alice Cooper, but have their own individual persona, so to speak. And the cool thing about Ace is, they were choosing their personas, and he chose the spaceman. And he chose the spaceman because he was always like into sci-fi, TV shows and movies growing up. So I'm sure he watched Star Wars, 1977. That was their album Love Gun actually came out in 1977. But, I'm sure he was watching, tons of sci-fi stuff like Flash Gordon and probably the day the, what was that one movie? The Day the World Stood Still, like the older one. So anyway, he was like really big into sci-fi, and he liked spaceships. And so anyway, he took the moniker of Space Ace, right? Or the Spaceman. And obviously, me being like a big fan of sci-fi growing up, like I loved Star Wars, obviously, like every sci-fi fan. I loved Men in Black. I loved He-Man. I loved what's another big sci-fi one that I really liked growing up? War of the Worlds, like the Tom Cruise reboot. So I definitely liked sci-fi a lot, and yeah, I mean that's kind of why I love Ace. I mean, obviously I love his playing too. He's he's kind of like an unorthodox player. So he said he never had a teacher, so he never learned formally how to play. In that regards, I am not really like Ace. Honestly, I had great teachers growing up. I had like a couple of different teachers when I was a kid. Um, they were great teachers, awesome guitar teachers. So luckily, I was able to take lessons. But that's not necessarily super important, having to take lessons. I mean, there's plenty of players who didn't actually formally take guitar lessons. For example, Eddie Van Halen, while he was proficient and like, because he played piano growing up, and basically he, that's how he got like his kind of classical understanding of music. Obviously the piano, left hands doing chords and bass notes, accompaniment, and then obviously the right hand is doing your melodies and melodic runs and legatos and things of that nature. So Eddie Van Halen had a great foundation, and obviously he's one of the best players who ever lived, but technically he never formally studied guitar, and he actually never fully got the hang of reading music either. But again, that's neither here nor there. But anyway, the reason I like Ace is just like his style is just it's kind of like just raw, gritty. For example, if you listen to the Shock Me solo, like that's his best solo he's ever written. He starts out something like this. Something like that. It's like, something like that. It's one I definitely need to work on, but I just really like his style. If you listen to it's not I Stole Your Love, or yeah, it is I Stole Your Love, right? Yeah, if you listen to the solo for that one's pretty cool. Something like, so obviously I don't have these solos down fully, but I just like his style. It's not too simple, but it's not too complex either. It's not like Angus Young to where like every solo sounds the same, but again, he's not playing stuff that's like too incredibly difficult for like a beginner or intermediate player. Like obviously if you're an advanced player, you're gonna find Ace's solos not too difficult, but your timing is going to be a little bit strange because, like I said, he never had a formal teacher, so some of his phrasing is kind of strange, like timing. But anyway, that is why I love Ace. He is just that really cool guy. Check out his solo stuff. He's got this song called New York Groove, which I believe it wasn't written by him, but it's a song that he recorded like whenever he did his solo album, like his first solo album after he left Kiss. He has a solo album called, I believe it's called like Origins Volume 1. He's got a cool one on there called I believe it's called like Parasite Lady. It's like it's the one that starts out like, So just a lot of cool licks, a lot of cool solos. The Love Gun solo is pretty cool. For a while, I could play that one pretty close to like up to speed and like the recording. I've since gotten a little bit rusty, but I'm trying to get back into guitar. But that one's cool because it's just like pretty simple. It's just like a E minor ascending, like something like that. So anyway, I'm not really warmed up, but anyway, I always liked his just kind of like his, obviously like the space man persona. Um, he's great in interviews. Really like his guitar style. So anyway, that is kind of just me talking about Ace and why I love it.